Welcome to this week's Guardians Newscast. The headlines tonight: thousands of Guardians find secret new tomb and rob it.
And then after I pulled my trousers up, I noticed the door was open, so we kicked it in.
Magic new shotgun produces pages of a book instead of bullets. I couldn't believe it. I was just pulling the trigger and pulling it, and I won't die in. Just all these bits of paper were coming out with all this strange writing on it. It's a bloody disgrace. We reached out to the AI warmind Rasputin on Mars, and he gave us this exclusive quote.
"Get out of my chambers, peasant."
All that, plus this week's weekly reset run-through with all your favourite bits and bobs and things, you know, what the reset does. Anyway, on with the show. And our main story tonight is that Guardians across the system have finally managed to get access to Rasputin's tomb and secret bunker. We cut live to our reporter, Barry Options, who was one of the first there yesterday in time for it to happen.
Well, I don't know if you remember last week, but we were stuck outside like we couldn't get in. And then all of a sudden, the door kind of opened a bit. So we just all piled in, didn't we? And we were all drunk, mind. So by the time we got in there, we could barely see. And anyway, I said to my pal Bill, I said, let's go in and have a look what's going on here. So we got in there, and then there was these big fizzy gold things. I thought they were sweets, first of all, but it turned out they were statues. Anyway, as you got close to them then, they started talking to you. I don't know, I soiled myself, I said to my friend Bill. I said, I just soiled myself, Bill. He's shouting at me, he's telling me he's killed children and all this kind of thing. Well, I didn't know what to say, but I put it down to the fact that we'd be drinking Guardian moonshine most of the afternoon, so I was seeing badgers wandering across things anyway. Anyway, we wandered through with more of these talking sweets, and then we got to the end room, and there was like a big golf ball with a red thing on it, and apparently it was really old. So me and Bill had a waz in the corner, and then we nicked this shotgun from this bloke and ran away.
Thank you, Brian Options, for that deeply moving interview with those Guardians. In related news, the Felwinters Lie shotgun, what was stolen and spread round the system like a rash, has been malfunctioning quite badly for some of our Guardians. We interviewed a couple of them on the moon, or somewhere anyway, who were telling us about that sort of thing, what I just mentioned. Well, after we raided that tomb, what had that bloke in it who was glowing, and then we all had this gun, right? And we all thought, oh, it's the best gun we've ever had in the world ever. It's much better than that Fourth Horseman cobblers, which is like a bloody grenade going off on your end. Anyway, I jumped into this massive, huge throng of thrall, and I whipped out my new weapon, right? And I pumped it and pumped it and pumped it, and all that happened was these pages came out, and it said, like, lore on it, or something. I just don't know what it was. I tried to read it, but I couldn't because I had some thralls trying to eat me shins. Look how they're coming again, they're going to eat me. I'll try and mollify them with this lore chapter. God, I'm glad he's dead anyway. We've just had a couple of pieces of breaking news, what I'm going to bring to you right now. There seems to be some new music as you descend into the tower, just to give you the willies for the impending crashing almighty type thing that's heading our way. Apparently we haven't seen any of it for the last 10 weeks, but there you go, never mind. So if you want to listen to that, approach the tower. Also, there has been some interesting news from Paul Tassi, the Forbes scribe master, who has informed us that if we squint at the sun in the tower, you can just see a teeny tiny little outline of the Almighty coming towards us. But when I got to the tower, it was dark, so I couldn't see bugger all. Turning to the Time Sausages Gaming Channel community front, I want to thank you all so much for continuing to watch my dribblings. It's a marvellous thing, and I'm incredibly grateful for you doing it. And this week, we held a poll to see what people had left to do in the Season of the Worthy. And quite frankly, I was overwhelmed with the response. People voted in their 12s to come and tell me what they were left to do. And it seems that most of all people had the completion of the season pass to do. That was 58% of you. I've actually just finished mine, so, you know, we've only got 2 weeks left to get a wiggle on. 25% of you hadn't got the Felwinters Lie shotgun yet. I recommend you do it, and if you don't want to do it, well, that's fair enough really, but it's a good gun, go on, get it. And 17% of you still haven't done the Fourth Horseman and the Catalyst. So I could recommend, I've got a Fourth Horseman video just lying around if you want to go and have a look on how to do that. And I've just got news that there's another live stream coming in of us going to see the progress of the darkness towards Earth, or whatever it is, live from the bunker on the moon. It's good to see that they're still using VHS tape in those Guardian helmets. And now, let's have a roundup of this week's weekly reset information. I'm cutting to me, live here now on the director.
Okay, so let's go into the Vanguard playlist and see what we have for our pinnacle gear. Of course, we've got to complete 3 strikes. We'll have a little look at the modifiers on these babies. And we've got Void Singe. We've also got Iron. Enemies have more health and are not staggered by damage. And we have Heavyweight. Power weapons deal more damage. Lovely. Okay, let's pop on over and have a look at what we've got for the Ordeal Nightfall this week. Of course, you have to score over 100,000 to get the pinnacle gear during this, but if we have a quick look at the Grand Master level and see what goodies we have, we've got the Shocker when defeated Goblin Spawn Arc Pools. Don't forget there's Overload Champions, Barrier Champions, we've got Chaff, so your radars bust, you've got the standard Grandmaster modifiers there, and then we have Extinguish, so you can all get lost if you all die, we have Limited Revives, and finally we've got Thune Stratagem. Solar damage increased, knockback damage and distance increased, so that's lovely too. Okay, and let's have a little look at the vanilla Nightfalls and see what goodies we have in here. So we've got the Inverted Spire as the first one. That gives us the Trichromatic Ghost Shell as the unique loot for that particular Nightfall. Savathan's Song, that gives us the Duty-Bound Auto Rifle. And finally, we've got the Warden of Nothing, which gives us the Warden's Laws Hand Cannon. Nice and smart. Now let's pop over to the moon for our main juicy pick of pinnacles. So of course we've got our Nightmare Hunts, and we've got Anguish there, who is Omnigul, Screaming Git. We've also got Zydran, the Gate Lord, and finally we've got this one down here, that's Skolos, Kell of Kells. So of course you get some pinnacle gear for completing one of those on master difficulty. And then of course we've got the Garden of Salvation raid, which gives you some pinnacle gear, and we can have a little look and see what the raid challenge is on that this week. And it's a link to the chain. So there we go. That's chainy and interesting. Not Dick Cheney, of course. And then finally over at the Pit of Heresy, that's another final source of pinnacle gear that we have on the moon. Sauntering over to our Crucible playlists, and of course you can do either Classic Mix, Survival, Elimination, Control, Rumble to get some pinnacle gear there, but we've also got our Rotator playlists, so 4 matches of either those give you the pinnacle, of course, but 4 matches of the Rotators will only give you powerful gear, and this week we have Mayhem, that's good for a laugh, and also we have Breakthrough. And another source of pinnacle gear, of course, is Gambit. So you've got to do 3 Gambit matches there, either your standard Gambit matches or your Gambit Prime matches, so you can get your pinnacle. And let's go and have a little look at the Reckoning. Now, this week's baddie, big bad, is Swords. And we'll run through what they have to offer. You'll either get the Lonesome Kinetic Sidearm to drop, the Nightwatch Kinetic Scout Rifle to drop, Soul Survivor Arc Sniper Rifle, and Last Man Standing Solar Shotgun. And the tier 3 exclusive loot we have is the Just In Case Solar Sword. And the modifiers, we've got a Solar Singe, and we've also got Grenadier. The flashpoint this week is Mars with old Anna Bray. There we go. So that's our flashpoint this week. And while we're here, and this week's escalation protocol big bad is for the sniper rifle, and the guy we're going to kill is Damcalf, the mask apparently. So there we are. That's that chap dispatched, interestingly. Okay, so let's go over some of our legacy content that if you're needing to get some things, and let's face it, an All-Stringer is a nice thing to have. So the Menagerie lowdown this week, let's just get down to it there. No, that's the tribute hall. There's the Menagerie. Let's have a look at the Heroic Menagerie and see what modifiers we have this week. And we've got Extinguish, ew, yuck. Iron, we've got Blackout, so no one can see, you can't see anything on radar and stuff. And obviously Void Singe as well. So that's the Heroic Menagerie. Now then, the Raid Lair modifiers. Let's go and have a little look. We pick one of the old Raid Lairs. Let's have a look at that one. And we can see, let's just pick the Prestige mode. And the modifiers, email is, let's have a look, it's gladiator, melee kills buff weapon damage, and weapon kills buff melee damage, and vice versa. And then we've got arms master, which means in your kinetic, you run a shotgun, energy is an auto rifle, and power is rocket launcher. Not bad at all. And in case you don't know and you're still getting your curse breaker, this week's Ascendant challenge is over here in Aphelian's Rest. Now, I always do an Ascendant challenge video, which I do separately, so I'll put a link for that at the end of this video if you want to go there and see all the locations of the corrupted eggs and how to complete the event itself. Oh, and there's also lore there this week too. Let's have a look at what Eververse has to offer. I know you all are clinging on every word, so let's have a look. We've got the new finishing moves, la la, yes, and all that. Ooh, that ghost shell's quite cute, isn't it? It reminds me a little bit of the robots from the black hole. You know the ones. I know he's in a little box, but yes, his eye's quite cool as well. But I'm not spending any money. I spend enough on this game. Okay, right, we've got the feline fancy. I'm buying that. Watch me buy it now. Lovely, I want that one because it's going to be really handy for Guardian's Newscast. We've also got Infinity Cubes, which I own already. We've got a Outbreak Perfected ornament called Mercurial Affliction. I'm sure we've all got a bit of a Mercurial Affliction, haven't we? It's very Trials of Osiris-y. I don't really play Trials, so I'd feel a bit of a phony if I bought that, so it looks nice though. Siva Emergence, Transmat Effect. Ooh, very alien-y. Yes, there we are, there's that. And of course we've got our standard boons there. And let's have a look what else we can buy for Bright Dust. Come along, come along. Right, okay, we've got another emote. Ah, I'm going to have to buy that as well, but I don't think I'm going to. Let's have a look. It's quite interesting, yes. Oh, I quite like that one, actually. Yeah, I'm buying that as well. I'm sorry, but I'm buying it as well because it'll come in handy, you see, for people like me. What else have we got? We've got the Nuclear Shell Ghost. That's quite pretty, I suppose. Looks a little bit... Ooh, it's very weird. Oh, I don't know if I like that. It's cool, but I don't want it. We've got Immoderate Splendor, which is, of course, a sparrow. That's quite nice. Looks like its nose has been cut off, but I like the snake on it, and let's have a preview of the booster. Ooh, that's quite pretty. What else do we have? Husk Crushers, Dune Marchers, Titan Ornament. If you want that kind of thing, don't like them, they're quite ugly. Lux Treads, so we can go around looking like we're working on the motorway putting cones out if you want to get those. And then we've got Splice of Life, which is a Lord of Wolves. Shotgun Ornament. Ooh, that's quite nice, like that. Yes, but I'm not buying that. It's got Seaver on it. And the Savage Haymaker, which is a finisher, which is something that I already have. Ooh, that's quite nice, yes.
Finally, as I promised, here is a link to the Ascendant challenge this week, and also that Fourth Horseman shotgun video, what I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Guardian's Newscast, and I shall see you next time.